What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we are going to talk about Arizona safety. So this is a big thing that keeps coming up for people, and it came up for me a lot during my travels. For those of you who have been following me on Island Hopper TV, you've seen that I've gone all around the South America, and here I am in Florida. And it seemed like most of the time I was spending a lot. I was spending a lot of time saying, is Brazil safe? Is it safe to go to Rio? Is it safe to go to Buenos Aires? Is it safe to go to Santiago? Is it safe to go to Peru? I went to all those places, but I remember pretty much doing some research about where the safest places were. And as time went by, I remember when I finally got to Brazil, to Rio, and I was saying, should I stay in Brazil and keep going up into Brazil and exploring, like going to Florianópolis or going to Porto Alegre or going to some of these other places around Brazil? I started comparing it to Phoenix. I was like, okay, well, I see that Brazil has some pretty high crime rates. Thank you to everyone who's crushing up the likes, by the way. Matthew, Sick Mitts, Bebe, Golf Adam, The Mate, Jim B. Thank you everyone crushing up the likes and getting this video out to everyone so we can pump this thing. Oh, well, Scott, I'm over on Island Hopper TV. I mean, if you guys want to hang out with me, I mean, I'm making videos of Orlando right now. I'm in the Disney area. So if you guys miss content from Arizona and just want Arizona content, great, stick with this channel. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be traveling, but I am currently traveling and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying travel. It's addicting. I miss Arizona and I miss my house. I miss my animals, but my animals are with my little niece, my cat. She's becoming really good friends with my cat. And so my cat's in really good hands and I'm happy about that. My dog's got two other dogs that he's living with, so he's really happy. And other than that, I mean, I just miss Arizona, you know, just the peace and quiet that I get when I'm there. But yeah, so that's what this video is going to be about, is how safe is it? So let's go ahead and dive in here. This hat has sweat stains on it. You can see I've been going all around, so I'm going to go without a hat. But all right, so Phoenix, in my opinion, after having gone to South America and you know, gone around here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Orlando, it's really the best way I could put it, it just depends on the area you're going to go. And I think if safety is really a big thing, let me just give you the list of places that are going to be safe, just like anywhere. So it's like, hey, is South Florida safe? Well, yes, South Florida is safe if you're in West Palm Beach, but it's probably not safe if you're on like West Miami, right? Okay, so that's why I think the big thing is, where are the safe places? How do you end up there? And how do you know where the safe places are, where not to go in Phoenix, right? So let me give you the list of the safe places. So if you're a Tucson type, you're going to want to go to Oro Valley and Marana. If that's where you're trying to go, do not go to Tucson. Tucson, the city of Tucson, is actually more dangerous than even Phoenix, the city of Phoenix. And Phoenix can be a bit buck wild sometimes. I mean, the area of Phoenix that some of you guys from out of state really like Central Phoenix, but the area of Phoenix is kind of buck wild, even on the east side of, you know, in the streets, from about Central all the way over to about 40th Street, from the freeway, I-10, north to about just south of Camelback. That area is buck wild. I mean, that's it's like a rectangle or a square. That whole square area right there, you're going to want to avoid. And then, you know, as you go into the Southwest Valley, it also gets a little bit buck wild. Wow, 12 likes. Thank you to everyone who's been crushing up the likes. I've been spending a lot of time in the sun, so I look like it, obviously. I basically spent 12 hours around these Disney parks here in Orlando. So, yeah. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can get some of these comments here in shortly. But if you like Phoenix, you're going to want to check out Gilbert. Gilbert is really safe. Surprise, if you're a West Valley type, is pretty safe. The new area around Buckeye, it's pretty safe, but it's lower income. Some of you guys were asking about Florence. It's safe. If you go to Mesa, go to East Mesa. The closer you are to Phoenix, Mesa is not as safe the closer you get to Phoenix. So you go East Mesa, East Mark, towards the mountains, safe. Okay. Other areas in Phoenix that are not too safe, You know, we've talked about this before, but Tolleson, Litchfield Park is pretty safe. I mean, it just depends on what part of Litchfield Park you're in. Glendale, where the Cardinals play. I mean, from about 30th Avenue to Central, I mean, I just wouldn't be around there. That's called Metro Center. 15 likes. Thank you. Everyone's pumping up the likes. I'm going to try and read these. Gilbert is nice. Buckeye sucks, says John B. Yeah, Gilbert. I mean, Gilbert, Chandler safe. Gilbert, Chandler, Queen Creek, all safe. It's all the same thing. Pretty safe. I mean, you're going to have a little bit of riffraff around there, around like Tempe. Tempe is kind of hit or miss. I mean, I don't know if you'd want to be out too late on Tempe, walking the streets late at night, right? Gilbert, not a problem. North Scottsdale, safe. North Phoenix, like past Happy Valley Road, safe. Cave Creek, safe. Okay, now you're talking about some of these other towns. Is Prescott Valley safe? Yes, Prescott Valley is pretty safe. Prescott Valley safe. Not too much. I mean, you get the occasional bar fights. You get the occasional BS that comes along with being a major metropolitan area, but it's pretty safe up there. Flagstaff, pretty safe. Again, you're going to get some drunken belligerents, but nothing that you can't avoid, right? I mean, the safety concerns that you're going to have. So there's homicide, then there's property theft. Like, are people going to come up in your car? Are they going to come up in your house and try and rob you? So one of the things you can do, what I do, is I use Arlo's security cameras. I have 3 of them. And I also have a Ring doorbell. So, I mean, just having that presence of cameras around your house can, I don't know if it's a deterrent, but at least I know what's going on at my house when I'm gone. And the person that's house sitting my house is there too, to keep them charged. All in all, Arizona is safe compared to Detroit, Chicago, or LA. Yes, but there is some wild areas. I mean, I would tell you again, the area from the 202 or the 10, that central Phoenix area, just south of Papago. I mean, I've had people pull up on me and my friends say, "What you looking at, homie?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't even know you were there. I'm like just trying to start problems. This was a couple years ago, but I never forgot that. I was like, I've never had anyone just roll up and say, "What you looking at, homie?" I'm like, okay, I'm not here to look for problems, that's for sure. Let's see here. Hope you didn't go to Jacksonville, Florida. I haven't gone to Jacksonville, but I'm working my way north. Chandler is nice, but it has dump areas. Yeah, Chandler has dump areas. Same with Mesa. Mesa is nice, but it has dump areas. You guys, I never forgot that. I was like, dude, does this guy got a gun or what? Me and my friend, we were just like, I'll tell you exactly where I was. I was probably on like 22nd Street by the airport, like on McDowell, like 22nd Street in McDowell. We were coming out of, my friend Phoenix, and we were driving instead on the freeway. We were driving to Tempe, and the guy pulled up on us. He was just one of those guys, sometimes they're just literally looking for trouble. But, that was just in that area. And ever since then, and it was like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I just stay away from that part of Phoenix. I live near Deer Valley Town Center, which is decent area. There you go. Flagstaff isn't very conservative. Okay. Chandler versus Gilbert. Which one is safest? Probably Gilbert, all in all. The newer the city, the newer the infrastructure, it's pretty safe. But in the areas like South Gilbert, South Chandler, even Queen Creek, Santan Valley, there is a look like we've seen some, even though Santan Valley is pretty new, I've seen like a high-speed chase in Santan Valley. I've seen some dude like driving his car on one of those like drainage ravines where the grass is, and a cop like chasing him. I was like, whoa, what's going on down here? So I got some statistics here to talk about. We got 50 people watching, 19 people already crushed up the likes. So thank you to all 19 of you. Let's see here. So you guys said, so violent crime comparing Tucson and Phoenix both rank at a 37.5. Overall United States average, 22.7. That's on a meter, on a metrics, right? Property crime is a lot higher in Tucson than it is in Phoenix. Now, we can compare any cities on this, by the way, if you guys wanted me to, but let's put Phoenix versus Gilbert. Let's just do Phoenix and Gilbert right here, just to give you an idea of how the same metro area is going to have way different statistics. Oh, they decided they wanted to show me an ad instead of give me the results. 1 second. This is on bestplaces.net if you guys want to access that. You can compare any city. But if we just go right here to crime. So, okay. Violent crime in Gilbert is a 10.4. So Phoenix, 37.5. United States, 22.7. Gilbert, 10.4. So Gilbert is well below the national average. I'm not making that up about Gilbert being very safe. I mean, so if you're a safety nut, you better start going to Gilbert. If you're buck wild and you like to start stuff, then you better go to Tempe or Phoenix or Glendale. Go to Glendale. You'll love it. You get pumped up over there. Property crime. Phoenix, 52.8. National average, 35. Gilbert, 23.1. So Gilbert well below the national average on all of these statistics. And if we go to, let's see, Phoenix, and we compare it to Prescott, because it seems like some of you guys are trying to get down to Prescott. Let's go ahead and look at Prescott and Phoenix. Is it going to show me another ad? Probably not the most ideal thing to be doing on a live feed here, because it wants to just show me ads. Well, nonetheless, you can see Gilbert is probably where you should be going, or East. Go to East Mesa, same kind of deal. Same thing as it's just called Mesa, but it's East Mesa. I mean, you could even call Gilbert South Mesa. You get it? It's like you would cross the city boundaries, and you don't even realize that you've crossed the city boundaries. Avoid South and West Phoenix, says Darren Kroc. There you go. Darren said it all. I'm out in the country in Coolidge, which has been an old farm community, but now is on fire. Real estate booming, industry moving all around. I've lived in Scottsdale, Fountain Hills. Okay. Coolidge, that's way south. Gilbert is on the east, on edge of Phoenix area. Yeah, it's east, southeast, just like Mesa, but it's south of Mesa. How long might it take to get used to dry heat? Well, so today, this is Orlando, Florida, so this heat didn't really bother me, but I don't think it's as hot as it usually is. I didn't mind this heat either, but in July, it was pretty hot in Phoenix. I mean, it was pretty dang hot. Yeah, so another thing about safety that you guys keep worrying about, really kind of, what is this? Not all of you, and I'm not, even the people who are worried about it, I'm saying you shouldn't be worried about this. These scorpions and these snakes and all this, you guys are saying, I don't want to move there because there's snakes. I don't want to move there because I'm scared of scorpions. Okay. Here in Florida, I mean, I've never seen more bugs in a hotel room than I saw in Fort Lauderdale, like ants. I mean, get bug spray. Get bug spray. Just do bug spray. What else? Snakes. I mean, don't live in the city. Don't live in the desert. If you live in the desert, you're going to see wildlife. That's where the wild things are. I mean, if you live in Florida, you live in the swamp, you're going to see crocodiles. You live in downtown Miami, you're not going to see crocodiles. I mean, you live next to the lagoon, you're going to see crocs. I mean, that's another thing. Like, what place doesn't have some sort of venomous creature or some sort of anything? So if you're really worried about scorpions or snakes, yeah, they exist. I mean, I haven't seen any scorpions at my house yet, but I know people who have, so they exist. But you take a preventative measure and you won't have to deal with them. Call the Orkin man, and there goes your problem. Yeah, I mean, you have your positives and negatives about every place. It's like Rio. Like when I was in Rio, I mean, I was constantly getting warned by people about Rio de Janeiro. I mean, someone said something to me on one of my travel groups, travel bucket list. They said, if whatever you, or they said, yeah, you want to go to Rio, just watch The City of God. There was a movie that was made in like 1992 called The City of God. And so I was like, what is the City of God? It sounds like, I was thinking, the Jesus Christ Redeemer statue. I was like, oh, that's maybe why they call it the City of God. Well, it's a favela. And so I go to this, I go on YouTube and I look up City of God to see if they got a trailer. And I see this video and it's of this kid who just goes out and kills a bunch of people like crazy. And he's in Brazil, in Rio, in a favela. And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know about going to Rio. Like, I mean, and I do a little more research and they're like, it's not the adults that you got to worry for. It's the kids. The kids are the worst criminals in Rio. And I was like, why would that be? I was like, I've never really been in a situation where kids were the big threat, right? And so I did more research, but I was actually kind of hesitant. So I get why people, I guess that's why I make this video right now, is because I get where you could go online, you could read a forum post, you could hear from someone who says, don't move to Phoenix, it's hotter than hell. Don't move to Phoenix, dangerous. Don't move to Phoenix, they have an immigration problem. Don't move to Phoenix, this and that. And then you actually go there and you're like, well, there's positives and negatives, and you just got to kind of be careful. But then when people say you just got to be careful, you're like, well, what does that mean? What does just be careful mean? I don't get it. So Anthony Hawley says, is the Catalina foothills area of Tucson a safe place to live? Yes, it is. And again, it's going to go back to the whole thing. Every place is going to have some riffraff every once in a while. I mean, I've seen it even in North Scottsdale. Everywhere has something. Pick your poison. All depends on what a person wants. Personally, I do not want cold ass winters or tornadoes. There you go. G. Smith just said that. Yeah, out here, like, they got hurricanes. So one of my friends that was telling me they don't want to move out to South Florida because they get hurricanes like every year. So I mean, but I'm sitting here like, man, Florida is nice. I like South Florida. I'm like, dude, this place is great. But I'm here in September. I'm not here in the heat of the summer, and it's like monsoon season. But it's one of those places, probably just like anywhere else. Like the longer you live here, you kind of get over it. So then it's like the cost of living is going to come into factors. How many people do you know? How close is it to your family? All this stuff, right? Okay, let's see here. Wow, there's a lot of comments going on here. I'm trying to read them all, but some of them are throwing me off. Anthony Hawley, I think they made a good comedy about that. Oh gosh, my chat thing just went off. Let me turn that off. Oh, it was my grandma texting me telling me that my Epcot video was good. On my other channel, Island Hopper TV, I made a video about the Epcot wine and or food and wine festival. I walked around that. Apparently, it's the biggest video about that. If you guys want to check that out on Island Hopper TV. Also, I made the video about Rio. I personally think my video on Rio was one of my best ones that I made in South America, but for whatever reason, the video I made about Santiago, Chile is the most popular. But I think the best video I put on there was the one of Rio de Janeiro. And actually, I did go into a favela. The taxi cab driver told me to go into the favela, or he said, do you want to go into the favela? He speaks real strong, strict Portuguese. Like in the video, you can hear him talking real Portuguese. And the reason he was talking Portuguese, I don't understand Portuguese, but he was talking because maybe someone will come through and translate what he was saying. But we went into the favela. It's called Rosina. It's the largest favela in Rio. I was like, he didn't, I didn't plan it. He's like, do you want to go into we kind of like translate, do you want to go into the favela? I said, it doesn't sound safe. I mean, I saw that video, City of God. I was like, is it safe? He's like, yeah, it's safe, safe. He's like, I go through there. No problem. You're with me. And so I went through there with him and rolled with the punches. I mean, he was one of those taxi drivers, like government sponsored by the tourism board kind of guy. Because when you go to Rio, you can get not just a yellow cab taxi, but you can get like a private driver. They're called radio taxis. But he took us up into the favela, and I filmed that. If you also want to watch that, the thumbnail is of the Brazilian military guys. Those guys are pretty strong dudes. um, they look like I was like, dude, those guys are jacked. Um, is Yeah, George. It sounds like it's a vacation, but my main job is actually I work in travel video. I make travel content. So this is actually I haven't really told you guys what my main job is, but the Island Hopper TV is part of it. It's just my side gig to what I normally do. Uruguay was my favorite from this trip so far. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, Uruguay. I keep saying Uruguay. I keep forgetting how to properly say it, but Uruguay is really safe if you want to go to someplace in South America. I also found Chile to be safe, Argentina to be pretty safe, but Uruguay is pretty good. I just really liked Brazil a lot, honestly. I just wish that people wouldn't, that I didn't always have to have people constantly saying, be careful, be careful, be careful. Because I really wanted to go up into some of these some more of these places, but people, it seemed like all the time, I just got sick of hearing that it's dangerous in Brazil. I just got sick of hearing it. So Uruguay is poor now. It's a socialist country, but it's pretty safe. It's not it's like a mixed blend between socialism and capitalism. It's not like Venezuela socialism, but it is poor. Like the average, it's Chile is the rich one. They're full blown capitalism. They have a capitalist economy based on mining. And Brazil is, you know, those fires that are going on in Amazon, in Amazonia. You saw the fires that were going on. That was that they're partly burning some of the Amazon to turn that into agricultural land. Brian says Arizona has much lower property taxes than Illinois and New Jersey. Property tax in Arizona is a thing. Also, one of the things, if you have a corporation or you start a company in Arizona, I noticed it is a bit of a problem because every quarter you have to report your earnings. Now, that is annoying to me because that means I've got to contact an accountant every quarter and pay an accountant when I'm used to just paying an accountant one time at the end of the year to do my personal and business taxes. And then I can do all my accounting, but I've got to contact someone to do the proper documentation. I find that to be very annoying. California, one of the few things, I've had a corporation in California, I've had a corporation in Arizona. California is one time a year, but you got to pay a state franchise tax board of $800. Arizona, you have to pay, I mean, I'm paying my tax guy $850 every 3 months. But they say it's better. I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if never mind. I'm not going to bring in tax guy stuff. Hey, what's up, Michelle? I noticed in one of your videos, everyone seemed to be wearing black. Maybe Santiago. I mean, when it's winter. I mean, if you go to New York, people aren't wearing like flamboyant orange and yellows, are they? I don't know, but it was winter in the southern hemisphere, and in Santiago it was kind of cold. It was the last 2 days I was there, it was actually sunny, and I was like, oh, thank you, because I could get actually good video footage. But it was where Peru is. So Peru is like right below Ecuador. Why do they call it Ecuador? Because it's right near the equator. And Lima is not too far away. Like it is in the tropical range, but it was cold as heck. And in Lima, like I was like, isn't this place supposed to be a tropics? But it's a desert. And it was cold in Lima, Peru, man. That was probably the coldest place. All right. Smash the like button, says Michael. Thanks, Michael. Did you hear about the escaped prisoners in Tucson? Are you talking about the people that were coming from across country and they escaped in like New Mexico or something? And they're like a modern day Bonnie and Clyde. Is that who you're talking about? Who said that? Matthew Majors. The man, the old man and the old girl, right? Old lady. When you go around in Arizona, it's best to also have less than lethal defensive weapons along with firearm, maybe bear spray and a baton. Okay, that's what Florida Treasure said. FL Treasure said. Michelle, do you miss home? Yeah, I mean, I miss home a little bit, but I love traveling. Traveling is addictive. It's very addicting. I mean, sleeping in a hotel bed is not so addicting, but being in different places and around all types of different people really, I decided I wanted to start seeing, after seeing South America, I decided I wanted to see uh, North America. I go to everywhere. I go to Asia, I go to Europe, I go to South America, I go to Australia, and I never really explore America because when I was younger, that's all I ever explored. You know, I've been to Florida. I've driven to Florida from Arizona 3 times, 2 times. I've been to Florida so many times, but I'm here now. Recently, I haven't gone recently, and I actually want to go to Myrtle Beach. I want to go to North Carolina, maybe even all the way up to New York, and then go to Nashville. And some of those places I've already been, some of the places I haven't been, and maybe even check out ATL. Jello says, got room for one more. I wonder if people, I often, the way that I travel so fast. You know, you'll notice I'm in every area for like 3 or 4 days. And I wonder if people can keep up with that. So I'm like, if I was to bring someone along with me, number one, the first thing that comes up is how much is it going to cost? Because I'm like, that's going to be like double the expense, right? And it's work. It's not play. Like if it was play, of course I don't want to go by myself. The whole reason I'm working so much is because I'm solo, right? Like I don't have anyone like distracting me also, but at the same time, like it's not for play. But if I did go play, I'd probably end up going back to Cancun. Cancun's pretty good for playtime. I mean, that's a heck of a good place, and it's a 3-hour flight from Phoenix. If you haven't already seen the Cancun videos and you're interested in Cancun, go check out the one on my channel, Island Hopper TV. Xcaret, that was a good video. That's a water park. Or check out the one down on Hotel Zone, or the one from the beach on there. Or my personal favorite probably was Tulum Ruins. The Mayan civilization that was built on the ocean. That's a pretty cool. That was probably the coolest ancient civilization one that I've been to. I've been to the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon. I've been to Rome. I've been to the Acropolis in Greece. I went down to Peru, checked out South America stuff. But I wanted the Mayan ruins in Tulum are really cool. I do recommend that. It's hot though, man. Hot. That was some hot humidity. John B does not want anyone to move to Arizona. Okay, John B. Yes, Michelle, very interesting. And they also have in that area around Tulum is these things called cenotes. They're really beautiful, like ponds that you can swim in. They're crystal clear. You can even see like little fish and little baby turtles, and like you could see like all the way to the ground. It's pretty cool in the Yucatan. Heat is horrible. I mean, it's not too horrible right now, but sure it gets hot. I mean, if it's anything like Tulum was, best fried chicken in Arizona can be found where? Oh gosh, great question. Probably still Popeyes, I guess. I mean, the obsession that Popeyes has. We have like Southwestern barbecue. Even today, as I was walking around Orlando and I was smelling barbecue, I was like, man, down here in the South, they do really good barbecue and they do soul food and stuff like that. And I was thinking, they don't quite do that in Arizona. And I was actually even like watching people's behaviors when they drink wine or drink margaritas, or drink beer. And I was like, Florida's just got this different vibe to it when the people are chilling out and doing things. And when I was thinking about the vibe in Arizona, I was thinking about like Phoenix TPC Scottsdale during like the PGA Tour and stuff like that, because that's when Phoenix, it's like a big event. It's usually during the same week as the Super Bowl, so it's in January. That's like when people turn up and tune up. People go out there, they drink beer, and they walk around. Like 500,000 people walk around TPC Scottsdale during the Phoenix Open. But there's other events, like down in Tempe, how people chill out. But Florida's one of those places where it's pretty fun. Florida's pretty fun, I'll say that. Arizona's got its fair share of fun. Michelle, I am in Orlando, Florida right now. I just filmed all of the Disney resorts. I did all 4 in 2 days. Actually, yesterday I did 1 and today I did 3. So that's why I'm so pink, red, whatever you want to call it. I look, just like I've been getting a lot of sun because I did 3 parks today on foot. Covered them all with this thing. Filming. I even had kids come up to me, "Are you a YouTuber? Are you a YouTuber?" I'm like, oh, kids are getting smart. These kids are growing up on YouTube. Like, YouTube is the future. Like, CNN, bye. Bye Fox News. Like, YouTube is the future for real. Because these kids, they're growing, like we grew up on, cable TV, my generation. These kids are growing up on YouTube. All right, Kimbo Jan says, Horny Toad in Cave Creek has great fried chicken. We ride motorcycles there. Sweet area, but keep your idle down. They have sound ordinance. Yeah, don't be going to Cave. Okay, Kimbo Jan, that is a good comment. Thank you for that valuable insight for everyone. I grew up in Cave Creek, and I know the Horny Toad, and that is a good place to go to get food and to get a good vibe. And also, she pointed out, or I don't know if I can't tell that by the name, but they pointed out sound ordinance. So don't be rude and rev your bike through there. People just don't like that, whether it's the bike or the cars where they get the mufflers. This dude, he had like a Honda Civic, like a 1999 Honda Civic, and he put like Flowmasters on it, and he drove down one of the streets in West Palm Beach as I was filming, and one of the guys that was a street entertainer, he was playing his drums, and the guy drove by. His car sounded terrible. It was a 1999 with Flowmasters. It just sounded terrible, but he like revved it real hard because he thought he was cool. Sorry if you got a 1999 Honda Civic with Flowmasters and you like to rev your engine on. I'm sure, hey, everyone's got their thing. But this guy, he goes, he's like, why? Why do you got to do that? What's the point? But they do the same thing with motorcycles where they'll just be cruising. They'll be like, and everyone will be like the kids will all freak out and be like, what happened? It's like someone just shooting off a M80 right there on the side of the road. Thanks everyone who crushed up the likes. We got 35. Oh, okay. Omar, the soccer coach, he said, this is my first summer here. Not as hot as expected. Yeah, so there you go. And I've always said this from the very beginning. If you can handle June, July, and August in Phoenix, the rest of the year will be a piece of cake. It's just like the inverse of being in Chicago. If you can handle November, December, January, maybe even February in Chicago, right? Cold, then the rest of the year should be good. But then again, I hear that Chicago gets pretty hot in the summer too. Is Arizona still growing, says Jaden. What do you mean still growing? You mean in population? Arizona is one of the fastest growing states in the nation, if that's what you mean. Inhaling will burn your throat when you're new to Arizona. Okay, there you go. Okay, says Jayla. 80 degrees on Christmas Day. Yeah, it was pretty warm, but was it 80 degrees on Christmas? I remember on New Year's Eve, it was raining this last year. It was raining like cold. Like I thought it was going to snow on New Year's Eve this year in Phoenix. Moving to Surprise in October, what's the vibe like out there? I mean, the vibe is like near Sun City. Sun City is the retirement community. So Surprise is where it's a little bit more, it's the younger people, but the vibe is like go to Arrowhead. Still, even if you're in Surprise, it's go to Arrowhead Mall, go to Arrowhead, everything. That's the vibe. As far as other recreational things, they go to Lake Pleasant. Lake Pleasant. Go up towards Wickenburg. I mean, if you're going to Surprise, you might want to check out North Peoria, like Estancia or something like that. Check out North Peoria if you really want to get some real nice area. Jayla says Surprise is ghetto. Well, West Phoenix is, West Phoenix isn't one of the premier. West Phoenix isn't premier. It's trying to be. Like North Peoria is up there. Verrado and Buckeye is decent for West Phoenix place, but I mean, Verrado is like, this is just a figure of speech, okay? It's a poor man's Scottsdale. Okay, if the people in Verrado could, they would live in Scottsdale. Phoenix is doing pretty good. I work in downtown. Downtown Phoenix, yes, but the areas around downtown Phoenix, you have to go over to Biltmore. You have to go over to Arcadia, but I don't know. Timothy Casey, North Scottsdale is the best. Yes, it is. Brian Schwartz says Avondale is nice. Are there any scary reptiles or bugs in residential areas? So, Royal Pilot 116. If you're worried about that, go into a rural area where there's houses side by side and you're in a city. You're going to get bugs in there, but you're not going to get the reptiles. You're not going to get the snakes and all that. But if you're worried about bugs, call the Orkin Man. And if the Orkin Man's not doing his job, call his competition and find out which one of the bug guys is going to get the job done right. Because you're going to encounter bug guys and they're going to say, oh yeah, guaranteed, we'll get rid of all the scorpions, we'll get rid of all the mice, we'll get rid of all the ants, we'll get rid of all this and that. And then you're like, hey man, 10 days later, you're like, I still got mice. I still got, or whatever it is, I still got ants, Also, it's preventative. Termites are probably a big thing, but that's not a threat to you, but that's a thing. Termites. Inspect your house for termites. The people who say Phoenix and Tucson are crime infested are not thinking. South Phoenix, Guadalupe is trash, but Goodyear doesn't even compare. Research first, haters. That's what Perfecta Music said. I mean, he said it. It's an opinion, and it's pretty close to accurate. I mean, it's not. I mean, he's speaking with passion, and he's saying, like, if you really want to know, he just told you. Dangerous Freedom says my cat kill all the critters. Cats. Hey, I have an indoor cat, so he's not allowed to go outside. Whoa, Dangerous Freedom. I found 3 dead scorpions before my cat missed one. Whoa, 3 dead scorpions. Jeez. Sounds like you need to call the Orkin Man. John B says, Goodyear, no thanks. Anything west to me is a dump. Okay, that's John B. I mean, John B, I don't know where John B's at, but he's been commenting a lot, and it sounds like he knows what's up in Phoenix. He's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on, and that's just his opinion, and that's the whole point of this community, right? Like, and if you're not joining our group, Living in Arizona, on Facebook, we have that where most of you guys already hang out. I mean, I see posts every single day. Even when I'm out traveling, I see people saying things. Sometimes I chime in, but for the most part, it's the community just talking, and that's the Living in Arizona group. Let me see if I can find a link to that in case some of you guys haven't already joined that. We also are starting one called Phoenix Metro. It's like the baby brother or the baby sister of Living in Arizona. It's just small right now. It's only like 400, but that one eventually will be about just people who want to live in Phoenix. So there is the link that I just posted. It's moving fast. A lot of people are commenting. My cats are used to the desert heat of the valley. Okay, good. Perfecta Music. Tucson places. The cartels from Mexico go through there, but from there they usually go to LA because coyotes think Sheriff Arpaio's teammates still guard. So yeah, haha, Phoenix safe. Okay, that's what Perfecta Music said. Some of the is Arpaio even still the sheriff though? I mean, I'm not. I'd have to check on that. Is Joe Arpaio still the sheriff? Y'all know Sheriff Joe, right? He used to be. He's the guy who, if you got a DUI, you had to wear pink chonies, pink boxers. I'll tell you the story. My dad got his first DUI at 55 on his birthday, and he had to go to Tent City. That was back in Sheriff Joe's heyday. My dad's like, oh, he never wanted to go. I mean, sometimes you can go a long time. Slip up one time, you're going to Tent City. Pink undies. Do not drink and drive in Phoenix. All right, Kyle Bollender said he's not. Yeah, so Sheriff Joe is no longer sheriff. Oh, he's running again, says Disabled Mutt Mutt. Okay, so Jim B says, hey, Jeff, what's your favorite barbecue place in Phoenix? My favorite barbecue place, let me just be completely honest with you, probably Rieta Pass. But I'm saying, let me be completely honest with you. There is no real great barbecue places. There's some, I mean, that's like saying, what's the best seafood place? That's not what Phoenix is known for, unfortunately, and it should be, because a lot of people like to grill. But there's nothing that's going to stand out and say, man, that's the go-to spot. You can get some spots down in Scottsdale. I can't even remember them off the top of my head. But there's a couple that I've been to with my family, my sister who knows all of them. You guys start rattling them off in Scottsdale. I know that's where there's a couple down in Old Town Scottsdale that are pretty good. But Rieta Pass is up in North Scottsdale and Pinnacle Peak. That's a pretty good place to get some barbecue. That's like Southwestern barbecue. But if you're talking about good steakhouses, I mean, there's a bunch in the Phoenix metro area, but I can't even remember most of their names right now. I'm drawing a blank. I mean, I went to a barbecue place down the street from my house in Santan Valley. I can't even remember their name, and got some baby back ribs and some barbecue sauce, and I just can't remember most of these names right now. I forgot. It was called the Pork Shop. That's homemade barbecue if you want to do that. John B, if you like meat from a donkey, go to Tucson. No, I don't like meat from a donkey. Brush fire in Tucson is fire. Barbecue, yes. Throw some good barbecue joints out there. Maybe I need to go check some of them out. But Phoenix, that's the thing. Like, even the people who are from Phoenix aren't really commenting about the best barbecue joints. It's really a thing. I wanted to start a barbecue company in Phoenix called Chuckawalla Barbecue. And I have a whole idea of how this Chuckawalla barbecue would be, because it's all about the ambiance, in my opinion. But it was something about Chuck's. You go to Chuck's, but because most people can't say Chuckawalla. If you want to know what Chuckawalla is, it's a lizard about this long. SRP has been fleecing me all summer. Man, SRP got me too. Like, even when I'm gone for $300. I was like July was a $300 a month for me with SRP, but I'm back down to like 150. My roommates, or the person who's staying in my house, has been managing it a lot better. But I was like, damn, SRP. That was like 1 month. July, I really got grilled by them. Scott Mac 250, 300. Yeah, but that's June, July, August, right? Like September is going to be 150. So yeah, they do fleece you a couple months out of the year. Kind of like that homeowners association, in my opinion. Them suckers, they were getting me for $10 late fees on all sorts of different things, and I was like, you guys are petty. I was like, how do you guys even get away with this stuff? I've never even had to ask them for anything. Like, they're always trying to find an excuse. I don't know if this is all HOAs, but my HOA is always trying to find an excuse not to do something. They're like, it's the community's responsibility to clean up the dog poop, not the HOA. It's the community's responsibility to make sure the trash is not on the road. It's the community's responsibility. It's like, well, what is the HOA doing except for just complaining to homeowners about what they can't do? It's like they just pay people to drive around the neighborhood to see if they can find them. That was when I was starting to catch on. The HOA might be a rack. Oh, Terry loves her HOA. Tara Moody loves the HOA. Florida is loaded with HOAs, says Florida Treasure. Timothy Casey says, don't purchase in an HOA. Dangerous Freedom says, never lived in an HOA. Jayla says, HOA is going to get you if they find a rock out of place. Yeah, if they find a rock or too many weeds or your trash can out, it's like, they're always, that's what I'm saying. I think they drive around trying to find people. Like, nobody in my community likes HOA. I don't have anyone like Tara saying, oh, I love my HOA. I love paying my HOA $79 a month to tell me what I can't do and see if they can find me every once in a while. Yeah, I mean, it is being responsible. I mean, I don't mind adhering to rules. Okay. And the only time I've really had any problems with them is they did fine me $10 for being late, because their cycle is not on the 1st. So it's in the middle of the month when I paid them, and I was paying them on the 1st, but they were saying I was 15 days behind, and I was trying to call them, but I couldn't get a hold of anyone because they're so busy. They manage like 50 different communities. So when you try to call the HOA to get a question or anything, they can't pick up because they only got one person or two people in the office and they can't respond to every homeowner. So I was trying to I just kept getting this little thing trying to figure it out. And then I finally figured it out. And yeah, I guess you could say I was being irresponsible by not knowing what the pay cycle was, but yeah. Let's see. Macho Sancho said, HOA just keep the property value up, but at the same time, lower the amount of buyers willing to buy your home. That's a good point too. I mean, how many of you guys want to live in an HOA community? Maybe my sister, for one, she likes HOAs. Me and myself, I was like, what's wrong with you? That's all I wanted to say. Florida Treasure says, there is always a yard Nazi on the board of HOAs that are on a power trip. Yeah, I think I found the guy in my community who's really like, what was I doing? When I was building my pool. So when you build your pool, when I was building my spa in my backyard, they do shotcrete and they use a cement truck. And trust me, I didn't want the little pool with the shotcrete still on my yard for like a week afterwards. But the pool guy's building so many pools, I guess, he's giving me a whole excuse. Oh, I'm busy, I'm slamming. He really was slammed. Like, he wasn't joking. Like, this guy is such a good pool builder. Like, he's a 5-star guy. Sunkiss Pools is actually his name if you're looking for a pool guy. Good price and does a great quality work. Sunkiss Pools is the name. But he goes, he's like, oh, it's no big deal. Just leave it out there for a week. We'll come get it when we do the final cleanup. And this guy comes over to me and he's like, what's up with this? And I was like, I called the guy. He said, I can't lift this big pool. It's a kiddie pool with all the shotcrete in it. It's heavy. I can't move it. And I was like, pool guy said he's going to pick it up. It's no big deal. It's on my yard. It's on my property. We're going to get it. But I'm just saying that was when I realized, I was like, oh, he's the guy. He's the guy who's going to say some stuff. So, but outside of him, I don't think there's anywhere else. And heck, I mean, we got dogs barking in the community. I don't complain about the dogs. I mean, some of these dogs will bark all night. Or whatever. I don't know. I've been gone away from the HOA for so long, but I'm still, you could see they still irritate me. Oh, John B, I'm a patriot, says Dangerous Freedom. All right, so where do you home flippers buy homes in Arizona? Probably, if you're a home flipper, check out the central area of Phoenix. They really want to revamp Central Phoenix. I mean, you can get some really good prices in some of these older condos. Take a look in that area. Arcadia, Biltmore. Also, that's a good question for the Living in Arizona Facebook group that I posted a link to, which I'll post another link to, where you can ask people in there. That's a good question. Just the thing about posting in there, if answers to the questions are when people like write essays and they kind of like make it into essay format, because I don't think a lot of people want to read essays. But if you're short and sweet and direct and to the point, people will respond to your comments more like that. If you just said, hey, home flippers, where's the best place to buy and sell and flip homes? That's what you do. Oh, looks like I'm getting low internet connectivity over here. So anyways, thanks to everyone who's been crushing up the likes. And we got 46 likes. And also, if you guys want to, I'm still traveling. And if you want to keep up with my Island Hopper TV, reason I like inviting you guys over there is because I want to do some live streams on Island Hopper TV. And I want to keep some of the audience that I'm familiar with over there. I already know, like Michelle. I know Michelle. I know Peter. I know Matthew. I know a lot of these different names. I'm just, you guys are familiar. Where's a good location for a new build? Check out Gold Canyon. Check out anywhere up in the foothills. Depends on your budget, but Gold Canyon is an area that I would add Gold Canyon to the list of places to explore. Yes, Peter, I'm still on the road. I'm in Orlando right now, and yeah, I know, Chuck, I do, but that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to do. I'm mostly focused. I don't know because I'm in island. I'm in other places. I've been just focusing on Island Hopper TV. But if you guys, if I'm in America, why not? I mean, what's the next live feed you guys want me to focus on? I can do a little research and then come up with a format and present it in the video. Oh, I know. I no, it's I get today was just one of those days I was out in the sun all day. Um, I should put some aloe actually. I get these sun exposure for about 2 days and then it just goes away. Kind of. Plus, I was in South America where it was winter, so I mean, this is like my first time getting back in the sun. I was down there for a month. Hey, Chuck just gave $10. Thanks, Chuck. Wow, why'd you do that? Thank you. That'll buy me breakfast in the morning. I did, Tara. I did get a little sunburn. Like I said, I was out there for 12 hours a day. I mean, you go out if you're like me, you go out in the sun for 10 to 12 hours. I mean, I was hustling. I went to 3 different parks. I got lots of footage. There's some pretty cool rides out here. Like I said, I just made that video of Epcot, the wine food and wine festival, and then there's some cool rides. There's this one called Pandora. You guys got to check that out. Seriously, check out that ride, Pandora. If you got kids, you got to take them there. And then they just built this brand new one called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And that place is pretty cool. I think I was telling all my people that I know with kids, I'm like, oh, you got to take your kid to Disney World over here but here in September, it's not as crowded as it is in the summer. Oh man, thanks, Chuck. Another 10. All right, I'll try to keep them going. I can't make any guarantees right now, but when I get back for sure, but I'll try to keep them going. I apologize if I don't get them going, but I'll try to think about doing more live feeds for Arizona for sure. And you don't need to worry. I appreciate you giving me money for real. That's really kind of you. But I'll definitely work on getting more going for real. What's this? Janin talking about mayors. Oh, the thing that kind of popped up recently was I saw that the rail bill. Remember about a month and a half ago, we made a video about they were trying to shut down the Lightspeed Rail Initiative, stop building Lightspeed Rail, stop building all that rail projects. It didn't pass, so they still have funding to keep building the rail. And by the way, this is not just unique to Phoenix building the rail, okay? This is going on in almost every major metropolitan city in the United States and across the world. They're building rail. So the idea that we would stay way back and not build rail is crazy because here in Orlando, for example, from Miami to Orlando, they are building a rail system. It's actually been bought by Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Galactic, all that. He is actually the one building it, and they're having problems with it. I mean, they're always hitting snags. Same thing in Honolulu. They're building a light rail. They're still hitting problems. Same thing in Phoenix. And the thing is, what happens is they build it and no one wants to use it that has the money. Only the people who don't have the money want to use it, and then it becomes a welfare project. Well, then I found out that Amtrak loses money every single year, and it's subsidized by the government. So this rail thing, it's going to get done. It's got to get done. It's an investment in the future, whether people use it now or not. They still need to lay the tracks. They still need to lay the foundation, because once you get the tracks in place, you can upgrade the cars. Okay, it's just get the tracks built first, get something on there, and then as time goes by, you can just consider other options. But you got to lay the infrastructure. You got to lay the get started. And it's really good that Phoenix is building it, regardless of the fact that it's so sprawled out. Like they were like, we don't have a population density in Phoenix like they have in places like New York or San Francisco, where a lot of people are concentrated in one area. Phoenix is urban sprawl, right? So that was one of the reasons why they said rail just simply won't work, but it would. And a little bit more population density would happen, especially around the rail systems. If you build it, they will come. And they might not come today. They might not come in 10 years or 5 years. They might not come in 10 years, but they'll come eventually. And Phoenix is going to be a city, unless the water shortage gets to a real peak, where people are going to continue to move to Phoenix. It's hot. It's got good weather. And the whole country is growing. And Phoenix is projected to be in the top 10 cities in America in population in the metropolitan area for the, I mean, heck, we might even pass Houston here soon as the 4th or 5th largest metro or city. But in metropolitan size, I don't think we're in the top 10 yet. But the city of Phoenix is still big. All right, Jay, let's see you later. You have to build, Peter. Yeah, you're right. They have to build the infrastructure. The infrastructure is really important. And I can't for the life of me understand why people would not want to invest just because it's all about the economics. I mean, I get it. You got to make money, but Amtrak doesn't make money. But I was on an Amtrak train. It was full. I mean, I guess they should charge more or something. It's like Disneyland. Disneyland, when I first started going to Disneyland, Disney World, I remember when Disneyland was $23. Then I remember when they upped it to $45. Now it's like $135 to go to the park. Did you know that? So, I mean, if Amtrak's not cutting it, maybe they need to improve the quality. But, for example, Greyhound buses. You go to a Greyhound bus stop, you know, it's kind of a dangerous place. Greyhound bus stops are dangerous. Like, the people riding the bus, they'll be drinking 40s while they're on the bus, and there's not too much you can say about it. It's completely illegal. They shouldn't be drinking 40s while they're riding the bus or sitting at the gas station or bus station. But it's kind of like the Wild West on the Greyhound. But in Argentina, from Chile to Argentina, I rode on the best bus I ever rode on. I've been on some really nice buses all around the world. I'm like, get on these Greyhound things, and I'm like, whew, Greyhound? This is nothing compared to what I've seen around the world. And I'm like, I think more people would ride the Greyhound or would ride these buses if they were better quality. But the problem is they actually have an alternative to Greyhound, from what I'm told. It's called Megabus. Megabus, I think, is a double-decker bus. So this bus from Argentina to, or from Chile to Argentina, that went through the Andes. If you got, for those of you who follow Island Hopper TV, the video that I made where I went through the Andes across that pass, way up there, like 13,000, 14,000 feet near the tallest mountain in South America. Aconcagua, it was the name of the mountain. It's 22,000 feet mountain. People go over there because it's the second highest mountain, or it's the second highest mountain range in the world behind the Himalayas. Anyway, that bus in the bottom deck is first class. Okay, that ticket cost me $35 to go from Santiago to Mendoza, Argentina, through the Andes. So you sit on the top deck, $12. It's coach. That bus was so nice. I mean, you literally could like sleep on it. I mean, for $35. And I was like, why don't they do this stuff in America? That's why people don't ride it. But I was like, I was loving it. I mean, I would take a bus through the Sierra Nevadas from Yosemite to, I would pay to do that. I would pay $100 to take a bus and just chill out and just relax and drink some coffee and relax while I'm on a bus going from Yosemite to Lake Tahoe. I mean, that to me is relaxing. But no one's doing that right now on a Greyhound because the comfort's not there. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It's like, make it comfortable and people will go to it. MB says, Phoenix surpassed Houston. Not sure about that, Jeff. As long as the economy is business friendly as it is, Houston will be more likely. Yeah, I mean, I have to go to Houston, actually. I haven't been to Houston, so it's one of the areas that I want to check out along with ATL, because ATL is still one of the big cities in America. Dallas also, I heard great things. When I was in West Palm Beach, the guy was telling me great things about Dallas, which is his hometown. He was like, oh, I love Dallas. I love it. I'm like, well, I better go to Dallas then. I mean, the way this guy was selling Dallas to me. But Houston, I don't know, maybe Houston is premier. But like I said, I mean, Phoenix, I've been living in Phoenix for, I've lived there a lot, way back when, and now I've lived there here recently. And I would say that Phoenix is booming, and it's always booming. I mean, when I was living there for the first 21 years of my life, and here recently, as I lived here in 2018, 2019 in Phoenix again, it's booming big time to all sides. But I got to go to Houston to see how big it's booming too. But again, I guess the reason I was saying that Phoenix might pass it is because if you look at the fastest growing metropolitan areas, Phoenix and San Antonio are side by side. I don't know how I don't know if Houston's growing at the same, if Houston's growing in volume like Phoenix is. So I would assume that Phoenix is growing faster in the terms of actual real volume. I do a couple things, Omar, for work. One of them is this travel stuff that I do. Not just YouTube, other stuff that's related to travel. I have a consultant firm that actually assists corporations, and I have a team of people, about 22 people that work with me on my team. The reason I don't talk about it is because I don't want to mix that. But the YouTube stuff, I have no problem mixing. Big city's not a safe place to be. Who said that? Jason. Abby said, Dallas sucks, too humid, bad crime, leaving Dallas tonight, going back to Arizona, originally from the East Coast. Arizona is the best. Okay, Abby London. Yeah. Thank you, Noel. Oh, Noel, you commented on my Island Hopper TV video tonight, and you were the one who commented on my Island Hopper TV video asking about when I was coming back to Arizona. And when I got that comment, that's what prompted me to come on here and do this live feed. There's other conversations going on between other people, and I'm like reading them, and I'm like, oh, that was not one that I want to read out loud. John B, I do web development, also SEO. I make websites and also do maintenance. Is anyone interested? You said, John B said that, laugh out loud, he said. Yeah, Dangerous Freedom. I saw you and I think Chuck are going back and forth on some stuff. And no, it's all good. I was just I was reading it about fentanyl. Yeah, that was one of the things the United States government is pushing China for, because China keeps making fentanyl, and then they're shipping it over on these cargo ships, and then it's getting on the streets. But can you really blame China? Yeah, you can blame the manufacturer, but until we address the desire to consume these drugs, it'll never stop. It's like having a raft at sea, and you just keep trying to plug up all these holes, and another one just keeps popping up, and it's like you gotta stop the problem. You gotta stop the problem. And the problem is there's a demand for people wanting to do these drugs. Where did it begin? Whether the pharmaceutical companies are going to admit it or not. But I remember when I was a kid, they used to say, oh, you have ADD? Go on Ritalin. Oh, you have this and that? Go on Adderall. They were telling all these kids, they're telling all these parents they got ADHD. I seriously, not even kidding. There's not I almost never come across anyone. How should I say this? Everyone I talk to has ADHD, according to them. Like, everyone I talk to is like, oh, I got ADD. Don't worry about me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Everyone has ADD. But remember when we were a kid? I remember when I was a kid, everyone had ADHD, and they needed to get put on whatever it is, Ritalin. And then so these kids from the get-go, from the jump, they're getting on some sort of pills. And I remember my friend, he just did Ritalin, right? As for the first 10 years of his life. Now he's like, and then he ended up getting into other things. So it was like the real gateway was pharmaceutical drugs. So until we start getting into that and seeing what the real culprit is, it's starting kids out young on some sort of pill or some sort of thing daily is where the addiction begins, because it just advances to that. They get one little taste, like this, let's just say Ritalin's a sedative. It calms people down. Or Adderall. Let's just say it's an upper, gets you thinking. Where do you, when you're like, okay, I've tried Adderall, what could cocaine be like? What could meth be like? What could crack be like? What could this and that be like? And that's where it all really starts. So until we address that, we're going to keep producing generations of people who are going to keep wanting to consume some sort of drugs. And I say this from experience because I've lost friends to heroin. I've lost friends to other things. And I think back on it, I'm like, man, I remember when they used to do Ritalin. Thankfully for me, my mom, when I don't know if she knew or whatever. I don't know what she's trying to say she did, but I remember she literally said, no, we don't need Ritalin for him. He doesn't need Ritalin. But they were trying to push it. They were trying to say he needs it. I needed it. Arizona is the only state I know of that you can use HOV lane solo anytime except 6 to 9 a.m. By the way, that's a good point. You brought that up, John Platt. Uber is great, man. Uber, I never really use Uber in Phoenix, but out here in South Florida, I've just been using Uber all the time. And the reason I say that is because he was driving in the HOV lane out here because he was driving me. So, but it was stop and go traffic on the freeway, except in the HOV lane, we were just buzzing. I was like, man, Uber's the way to go. Because I was like, why don't more people take Uber? Seriously, I mean, and Uber drivers are very professional compared to taxi cab drivers. Oh yeah, John B, man, crazy people do drive on freeways. Like I know people who do not drive on freeways. Eastmark, AP's visions, Eastmark or Verado, I say Eastmark for sure. Unless Bill Gates starts breaking ground on that smart city, I don't know. I don't see the value in West Phoenix until he starts doing that. But if he breaks ground on that smart city, which he's supposed to do, but it's like one of those things that's taking time, you know, it's kind of like the thing that's being built down in Casa Grande, right? Dreamport Village, they're building that. Man, Dreamport Village. I was out here at Disneyland, you know, because Dreamport Village is supposed to be like this Disneyland type resort, which is out here in Orlando. And they just keep building it all around there. And I'm like, man, if they build one of these in Phoenix, that's gonna change the game for that whole area. Like that's gonna take, like they could totally do it. Why they don't, I don't know. But that project is still delayed, it's still not going through, and it should be going through, but it's not. Yeah, Casa Grande's in the middle of nowhere. So was this place, Kissimmee, Florida, at one point. I mean, Kissimmee, Florida, Orlando was nothing. Anaheim was the armpit of Southern California. My grandpa, I even asked him, I said, Anaheim, you remember back when Anaheim? He's like, oh yeah, it was the armpit of Los Angeles. Now Anaheim's like the place to be. But with urban sprawl, I mean, the Casa Grande is pretty bad. It's not the most legit place. But you'd be surprised. A lot of the places around Phoenix, before they had city, you wouldn't want to live there back when they were, you know, back when Phoenix was first settling. If you said, oh, I live out in Chandler, people would be like, oh, gosh, you're crazy. You live out in Chandler? Now everyone wants to live in Chandler. Gilbert, man, Tempe used to be the edge of nowhere. And then Chandler came along, and Gilbert was just a figment of someone's imagination back in 1975. There was nothing in Gilbert. Nowadays, it's the spot to be. I mean, that's how they build these new cities. Yeah, Chandler used to be farm fields. Gilbert used to be farm fields. Even where I'm out in Santan Valley, they're clearing. Santan Valley is the repeat of Gilbert all over again. It's the repeat of Chandler all over again. They've learned. That's why I say Santan Valley is going to be premier, because the lessons learned. So Gilbert's better than Chandler because of lessons learned, right? Like how to build houses more efficiently, how to do city planning more efficiently. Like Rio, there was a city, it was Brasilia, Brazil. They were saying that, so Brasilia, Brazil was this master plan community, but it was developed for that day and age in the 50s and 60s when they built it. So as they try to integrate the smart city stuff, it's really non-compatible. It's like Washington, D.C. How do you set up Washington, D.C. for a smart city grid? You really can't, because it was master planned back in a time when smart city stuff didn't exist. So nowadays, when they're building these communities, they're building them with this lesson learned that, hey, things are going to change as the years go by. Because as the years go by, it's not going to be the same. Things are going to advance. So when they're the Santan Valley, it's everything that Gilbert is. The only difference is it's at the foot of the mountains, so it's closer to the mountains, which I think is a plus. The Santan Mountains. And then even Florence, and that's why I'm also really big on that city, Gold Canyon, that's just past. Because if you guys think I'm joking about this, do one bit of research. Research the future planning of the freeway system around Eastmark. So Eastmark, that's when I really realized that Eastmark and Mesa was the next big thing, because it's being planned to be the Silicon Valley of Phoenix. They're trying to build it up to where they're not just going to move Google there, or move a Google data center there. They're not just going to build Apple stuff there. They're not just going to build like Amazon fulfillment centers there. They're going to build it, and then they're going to create the communities around it to where the people who work there want to live there. And that was when I had my aha moment. I was like, they're really planning this for future growth, and that's why they've got that big freeway. I think it's called the 15. I've forgotten a lot of the stuff right now because I haven't been there for a hot minute, at least over a month. It's just not hitting me right now. I think it's the 15. But look at the future plans for the 15 and how that's going to correspond with the 202, and you'll see what their plans are. And the only thing that can stop it is a slowdown in the economy. If the economy slows down, that plan might get put on hold. But as it stands right now, they just keep building. Sundance or Cadence, Eastmark, you go out there, they're still building it. And every month that goes by, new homes getting built from the ground up. It's just furthering along their master plan community. And if that keeps going on for, say, 5 years, I mean, that's going to be the spot to be. And it's eventually going to trickle down south towards Santan Valley and trickle north towards the Superstitions. And eventually Apache Junction is going to get swallowed up by all of it. And all the old timers in Apache Junction are going to get bought out. It's probably what's going to end up happening. But Gold Canyon, right now, it's in the middle of nowhere. Everyone's like, oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's so far out there. It's like, you look at Gold Canyon on a map, it's way out there. But the seed's already been planted and the tree's growing. And it's right there at the base of the Superstitions. And the Superstitions are really beautiful. It's just going to take some time. It could take 15 to 20 years, but Gold Canyon could be the Scottsdale of the East Valley. I consider it the Oro Valley of the East of Phoenix. Tara Moody, Tombstone is overrated. Tara Moody says, I'm a history buff. Okay. John B says, I thought there were trailers in Gold Canyon. Yeah, I mean, there's still Apache Junction nearby too, and that's mobile homes and whatnot. But they also have started building the new infrastructure, and that's when what happens is they eventually start buying up those those as the land value goes up, they're like, hey, how much do you want for us to buy you out? And they buy them out and they build. It becomes more financially. Everyone wants. Well, I remember back in the old day, back up in Cave Creek. Cave Creek used to be the same way. Cave Creek used to be way out in the boonies, nothing in between Phoenix from Bell Road. There was dynamite and Dixoletta and Lone Mountain, but nothing really too much, all the way up till Cave Creek Road. Nowadays, it's filling in. You have Pinnacle. I remember back when Pinnacle was being built, that whole area of Wildfire and Tatum Ranch and all that. I was there when all that was being built. Nowadays, it's like, if you're a newbie to Cave Creek, you don't even realize that brand new to me. But 20, 30 years ago, I mean, that stuff was brand new back then. But they used to, kids I was going to school with, they'd be like, oh, they're buying us out. And they wanted their parents, they wanted to get bought out because they would get 2 times the value, whatever. Because, all they had to do was say, no, I'm not moving. and then they had to keep up an offer, and then they were like, okay, I'll take it. You know, what kind of recommendations do you have for someone considering creating an Arizona YouTube channel? If you're considering creating an Arizona YouTube channel, just create content related to Arizona, and then probably go around to a lot of the destinations that you want to talk about, and just keep basically going around to those destinations and learning about it and adding the information that you think people are going to be looking for. But the Arizona, creating a channel about Arizona related, there's only so many people that want to do it. It's not like a casting a big net. The on YouTube, the big net, what I'm saying is, if you want the big audience, you know, the views, because if you look at my videos, I get like 2,000 views, and each video makes about $2.50 per 1,000 views. That's like my CPM. So I get 2.7 thousand views. I make like $5 or $10 on it. That's not gonna, you know, it's like, it's not really a profitable gig, right? But the people who get like 1 million views, that's the niche you want to be going into with YouTube. Because so what is that? For video gamers, like these kids who just play video games and just make videos of them playing video games, you get like millions of views, and they have, I mean, a million views at $2, that's like $2,000. So the whole goal is, how do you get 1 million views? Arizona channels, there's not a single Arizona channel out there right now. Not even the local news channels get millions of views. Well, they do occasionally if they have like some bizarre, crazy story that happens in Phoenix that goes viral. But those are a dime. Those aren't even a dime a dozen. They're like 1 in 100. Like, go to ABC 3 or go to ABC 15. You'll see their video views are very low. So there's not a big demand for Arizona type content. But you want to look for channels or niches where there's a high view. So, but if you want to make an Arizona YouTube channel, there's plenty of them that you can also learn from. This one, and there's a couple others out there that create really good content. I think they create pretty good content, and you know, I feel as though they know the state. All right, Maricopa is south of Phoenix. How to build wealth in Arizona. There you go. All right, guys, I'm out. It's been 1 hour and 17 minutes, and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully I see some of you guys over on Island Hopper TV. Let's see, did I post a link right there? Check out my channel, Island Hopper TV. I hope to see some of you guys over there. That's why I keep inviting you. It's like throwing a party and saying, hey, come on over. That's my link. See you over there. And I'll see you guys back on this channel too. And thanks to everyone who donated some money or did the super chat. I got $20 on this. So thank you to you guys who did that. And we will see you guys next time.